Hello everyone and welcome to the next GTA Online discussion episode, and in this video I want to talk a bit more about top speed. You know, it's been a hot topic over the previous few videos that I've put out, and I want to really talk about it and have a bit of a discussion about whether it really matters what the kind of top speed is in game. So the footage that you're watching are there'll be two kart races. You know, kart racing has become quite a fun thing to do in GTA recently, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as well later on in the video, but these are more sort of comeback videos in these kart races. I get pushed down right to the back in both of them, and I have to make a bit of a comeback, so there's a lot of good action in there. So yeah, the two latest fact-finding videos that I've had, the first one was about vehicle stats, and the second one was all about top speed and explaining how top speed works, and the fact that at the maximum top speed, the adder, for example, without any other effects, goes around 125 miles per hour. Now, I really do appreciate all the support that I've received on those videos. It's been absolutely incredible. I really honestly wasn't expecting that those videos would get the support that they did. It's been absolutely fantastic to see. I quite wrongly assumed that they would be a bit boring for people. You know, there's a lot of sort of statistics in there, a bit of maths. I just assumed that it would be a little bit boring and people wouldn't be all that interested in the sort of in-depth discussion about the game mechanics, and I was completely wrong about that. You guys really supported the videos really well. They've got a lot of views. The comments that you guys gave me were absolutely incredible. I really do appreciate that. And it's nice, you know, those fact-finding videos do take a lot of time. They take a lot of research. A lot of effort goes into making them, and it is nice to see that effort is kind of coming back and being sort of rewarded by you guys watching it and commenting and really appreciating the work that I put in. So that's great to see, and I hope that I can continue to make good videos throughout that series, and that fact-finding series is going to continue really in the same way. So yeah, the top speed issue is one that I personally don't think is really that much of an issue. You know, in reality, does it really matter that we don't go 200 miles per hour? I mean, it would certainly make the map feel a lot smaller if we did. You know, at the moment, you can get to the top of the map, to the bottom of the map in what, 5 minutes, something like that? If you could go over 200 miles per hour, you would be able to do it in like 2 minutes. It really wouldn't be. It really, you know, planes would have to be so much quicker. You'd be able to go from the top of the map to the bottom of a map in a plane in like 30 seconds or something, because they'd have to scale it all up. Now, you know, planes can go quicker than cars. You know, planes aren't limited to this kind of speed. They do hit sort of over 200 miles per hour. It's just the cars that don't hit those high speeds. But then again, you know, 125 miles per hour for the adder isn't necessarily the highest speed that it can go. As I said, in the future series, in future videos, I will be exploring how you can actually go higher than that 125 miles per hour and reach the maximum velocity of 160. So, you know, there is scope there to go faster than what we've sort of discovered, and that's what I'll be covering in future videos. But even so, I don't really think it matters that we can't go 200 miles per hour. It doesn't really make a difference. On the one hand, you know, people probably wouldn't be able to handle the cars going that speed. You know, already a lot of the time people crash just at the cars going at the speeds they are, especially in free roam, especially with traffic on. Even in racing, you know, a lot of randoms don't know how to use the brakes, so just increasing the speed is only going to make that worse. And I think 90% of people playing the game probably wouldn't be able to handle going over 200 miles per hour, and to be honest, you know, 50% of people probably can't handle the cars at the speeds that they are when you just think about the general population of the game. So that's on one hand, you know. And then on the other hand, really, racing, does it really need to be quick? Do you really need to be going at the absolute top speed in racing to have fun with it? Case in point, these kart races. These kart races on GTA are using bifters, completely stock bifters. Does it really matter that we aren't going 200 miles per hour in these? Are we aren't using Zentornos with the quickest acceleration and best turning. No, it doesn't. We're still having fantastic racing. We're still having great battles. I was able to defend quite a lot during this race, get some good overtakes done as well, show some entertaining footage and get some entertaining races out of it. It didn't matter that we were in bifters, stock bifters, only going at, 50, 60 miles per hour on a track like this where it's really tight. And the same thing is true for the other racing in GTA. You know, a lot of people just go for supers and sports. That's all people do. It's all people seem to race on the game. And there's so much more skill to be had in being able to handle a variety of cars. You know, every single class has a different characteristic of car. You can't just be able to race in supercars and expect to be able to then be quick in SUVs. They're completely different characteristics of cars. And all of them have appeal. All of them have good racing to be had. It doesn't matter that not all of them are going at such high speeds compared to the supercars. You know, the speed that you go at doesn't determine your ability in the game. You know, it's not necessarily harder to drive a sports class race than it is to drive a muscle cars class race or an SUVs race. It's not all about the speed that you go. It's about the quality of the racing that you have, and certainly that you know, when it comes to racing, it's about the turning and the carrying the speed through the corners. You know, if you have a car, for example, that doesn't have good acceleration, you have to work around that and start to sort of take more momentum through the corners, not be bogged down too much on the exit of corners. That's not the sort of experience that you get in supercars, because they have amazing acceleration anyway. You can just power out of the corners. So there's all sorts of different cars. There's all sorts of different forms of racing that don't necessarily need high speeds to make them work, make them enjoyable, and make them a serious racing format. And the kart racing is the perfect example of that I'm showing in this video. We're not hitting anywhere near the top speed that even the adder can get, or even the bifter itself can get, but it's fun racing nevertheless. So for me, it doesn't really matter that we aren't reaching those 200 mile per hour top speeds. For me, it doesn't make a difference. You know, people would be able to handle it anyway. There are already ways to go a little bit faster than the 125 miles per hour than that we saw, and for me, it doesn't make a difference to the racing. The absolute top speed that you go in racing anyway is rarely reached. You know, it's all about cornering speeds. It's all about how you do in the corners. Top speeds are really insignificant when it comes to proper racing. So, you know, it also gives a bit of a scope for future editions. Now, in the previous video of this series, I did mention about a race cars class and introducing specific racing cars based on, you know, obviously the Jester and the Massacro are two that we've had now. But yeah, that's in the previous video. That'll be linked at the end if you want to go and watch that in more detail. I sort of go over a number of different cars that could be turned into racing cars. But I also said that it would be a good idea if those race cars could be given a bit of a buff in performance, so that there is a specific class only for race cars, and they are a lot quicker than supercars, which they would be in real life. By the way, I absolutely adore this overtake that I managed to get down the inside here. That's what I mean, you know, an overtake like that. It was a great overtake. It didn't matter that we were only going 50 miles per hour. It was just a great overtake anyway. So yeah, the race cars class, they would be all race cars, and they would be quicker than supercars. Now, the supercars only going at 125 miles per hour at the moment gives scope for that to happen. You know, they could quite easily introduce a racing cars class that is maybe even only for racing, so you don't have to deal with people not being able to handle them in free roam or with traffic or something like that. They may be specifically only for racing in the game, that can hit 160 miles per hour without any extra effects. So they can go to those higher speeds, and they're a bit more of a challenge to handle in terms of racing with them as well. But because they're only meant to be used for serious racing, that's absolutely fine, and that's what I'd like to see. You know, I've been a big a big supporter of a racing cars class idea since the previous episode of this series, and it's something that I'd really like to see. And I would certainly like to see the bump in performance be even greater than the supercars that we have now. And you know, if the supercars that we had now were able to hit those 200 miles per hour limits, then there would be no scope for that to happen. So I do personally feel that there's no real need to improve this. You know, there's no real need to make the cars any quicker than what they are now. They're absolutely fine. You rarely hit top speeds anyway. Nobody really notices it. Does it really matter? You know, does it really make a difference? Certainly it doesn't to racing, but does it really make a difference to free roam or anything like that? The cars are what they are. Everybody's used to them. Let's just leave them how they are. And personally for me, I don't see a problem with it. But as always, I want to get your opinions. Leave your opinions down below. This is a discussion video. I always want to hear your comments and your thoughts on these things. So leave all your opinions, your thoughts down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know what you think about the kart racing as well. Do you enjoy that? First person for me is the absolute best when it comes to kart racing. Third person, I can take it or leave it. I'm not really that bothered. But when it's first person, it's just absolutely fantastic. And I was so close here to managing to get that third place, but I just didn't manage to do it at the end. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below about what you think about this. Do top speeds really matter? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.